How's it going, Matt?
Hey Ryan, how's it going today?
Excellent.
Good, good. Getting ready for the holiday weekend here?
Yeah. 4th of July, man.
For sure, for sure. Any big plans?
Well, I'm gonna try to go up to the mountains, take the kids and the dogs, and get out of the heat.
Nice, nice. Yeah, you
How
got a
about
lot of,
you?
yeah, it's hot over there right now, right?
Unbelievably hot. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, it'll be a nice escape for the long weekend. You're off Friday, Monday, or just Monday?
I think just Monday, actually. Yeah.
Very cool.
I'll talk to my boss. He's pretty cool.
Good, good. Maybe you slide out early on Friday, right?
It's a maybe. I don't know.
Nice. What do you do for work?
I work in sales.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
What do you sell? What company?
I work for ADT Security.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of buddies that work there. They have like a super interesting infrastructure, right? They have like the direct team, the third party teams, right? They got a lot of different interesting stuff going on over there.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah. Do you compete a lot against Vivint over there too? Do you see them? The Vivint?
Not so much. I work in commercial,
Okay.
so that's more the residential side, but they definitely see them. And Vivint's kind of a weird deal. They came out kind of real strong and then just sort of went away.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they came back saying they're Vivint Solar. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, they have.
It's funny that you brought them up though, because that was one of the companies that I was looking at.
Yeah, they're a super interesting outfit. I know it's like they're a Mormon company out of Salt Lake City, right? And they just
Really? Okay.
yeah, they took over like a huge area out there. Yeah, like I think the Utah Jazz plays in Vivint Stadium. So
you know what? Now that you mentioned that, you're right, because they hire a bunch of guys that are like right before they go on the mission field or right after they come back, and they have them as their door knockers.
yeah, yep, yeah. Small world, right?
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. I got a bunch of super interesting stuff that I think you're going to be absolutely thrilled about to hear today. The proposal that I built you is fantastic. You have a wonderful home for solar. You're going to save a ton of money right off the bat. But before we get into all that good stuff, just wanted to kind of find out a little bit about you. You know, have you spoken with any other companies before? Where are you at in the process? Give me a little background about your solar journey up to this point.
Copy that. Okay. Yeah. So obviously, you know, when I was talking to you last time, I told you how hot it was here, right?
Sure.
AC's running 24/7. We had 6 days of 106 to 108.
Yeah.
And I just thought, you know what, man, the bill every year spikes. It goes to like $800 through the summer, and it's not getting any cheaper. So I started looking into different solar companies. I've looked at 3 kind of that I've narrowed it down to that I definitely want to get a bid and a proposal from. And so obviously you're one of the people that I want to talk to and find out what it is that's different about Integrity and also Infinity, I'm sorry. And also give me some feedback on the other companies that I'm looking at too, maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of great companies in the space. So I'd be happy to kind of pull everything apart and kind of show you what separates us. I'm glad to be in that top 3 running. That's great news. So tell me a little bit about what's most important to you to make this decision, right? Have you spoken with anybody up to this point yet, or am I the first person you're speaking with?
No. I've already spoken with SunPower.
Okay, cool. SunPower.
So they had come out and they had given me some numbers and a proposal. And then I have you today, and then I'm looking at Tesla.
Okay.
And so those are the 3 that I've narrowed down. I did some searches online. I looked at the companies. I looked at customer feedback. I looked at some stuff on the type of equipment that they have and the type of offers that they have, you know, and I think I'm more interested in purchasing, you know?
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Yeah.
Unless you can tell me a reason why I would do something different. And for the most part, what I want to do is mitigate as much of my energy cost to PG&E as I can.
Okay, got it. Well, that's straightforward. Good. So, so you met with SunPower. You guys had a nice conversation there. you're leaning toward ownership, which I think is a fantastic idea. I mean, people should own their power, right? It's the right move in 2022, right? You're currently renting it, so a lot of switching over to a lease. You're still just renting the power, just from a different company. So owning the power, owning the system is a great move. So what did you really like about what you heard from SunPower? Obviously, it was good enough to continue setting up meetings with other companies. What was it that you heard that you really liked?
Well, they're pretty big. I don't know if they're the biggest out there, but they were one of the on a list of companies that I looked at. They're large as well, which makes me, and it's probably not true. Any company can go under. We've seen some huge companies go under
Sure.
for things like that. But I like the idea that they're going to be there to service the system. We're talking about a 25-year commitment.
Sure.
And so to me, it makes sense. Warranties are only good as the company that stands behind them.
Absolutely.
But having said that, if it's a company that's going to be there, that's a good start. And then, so I like their warranty. I liked the amount that they were able to save me. It seemed like their panels seemed really well put together. What they were telling me. So again, I'm just starting this journey. So that's what I know so far.
Yeah, that's good. That's you collecting the information. Was there anything you didn't like to hear from them? Was there something that they said that kind of turned you off? Because I know for me, when I'm shopping, if everything sounds good, usually I'll pull the trigger.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that way at all. And I hear what you're saying on that. What I've always done, and my wife and I, we started doing this really when we bought our first car. And it was something our pastor said. He said, "Hey, look, just don't go for the deal, whatever it is, don't go for it." He said, you'll regret that.
Yeah.
And buyer's remorse. Go out, get three prices, no matter what. And he said, trust me on this. The guy that tries to slam you on the sale, he doesn't care.
Sure.
and it served me well so far. So yeah. So
no, that's a good method. I mean, shopping around, making sure that you're getting a good deal. Of course, this is not a 1 or 2 day commitment, right? This is an opportunity for you to basically transfer over the way you receive power for the rest of your life. So yeah, doing the due diligence is key on it. So I actually have a lot of experience with SunPower. So SunPower, I'll give you kind of a little background about Infinity and SunPower here and how the two companies kind of intermingled. So the way that SunPower is actually set up, SunPower for a very, very long time, they only worked with dealers. They had a dealer network. We were a dealer for SunPower for actually a very long time. The dealers are measured from authorized, silver, golden, master, right? So we were a master dealer for SunPower for about 5 years. We were the first company to have that designation outside of California in the country. So we worked at we were co-branded with them, SunPower by Infinity Solar. We were wrapped in with them for a very, very long time. And the reason for that was the product, right? SunPower's technology was so cutting edge and so beyond their time in like the early and mid 2000s, right? So the product was fantastic. Back then they were selling a 327 watt panel when the majority of companies were selling like a 250, right? So I mean, they were leaps and bounds right ahead of everybody else. Over time, I think they kind of focused on some other different pieces. They got acquired by another company. They tried to gain market share, started losing a lot of money and outsourcing a lot of different things like customer service and whatnot to the Philippines. And we were having a hard time getting services run and doing things that we needed to do. So of course, we decided to kind of move in a little bit of a different direction here. So nothing bad to say about SunPower, but it is a very large company, like you mentioned, right? And with that, the service can kind of suffer from time to time. So we
completely understand what you're saying. I mean, coming from ADT, largest security provider in the world. And so one of the things that customers say is, look, the service isn't what I like and stuff like that. And with 7.5 million just on the residential side customers,
it's hard.
You might get a few calls.
Without
So I get it.
The thing is like how you handle the calls, right? For me personally, when I have an issue with something, whatever it is, right? I want to pick up the phone. I want to speak to somebody that speaks English, and I want them to understand what problem is and have the power to resolve it, right? And I think that was kind of one of the reasons why we just departed, right? The other part of that 100%. As well, when everyone is selling when everyone was selling a 250 and you're selling a 327, right? That's a huge gap, right?
Right.
Still to today, almost 10 years later, the 327 is one of their primary offerings, right? Where now we're selling panels above 400 watts, right? So
That's interesting. Okay.
yeah. Again, the focus kind of changed, right? They went from a technology and product company, and they kind of switched over to like a sales organization. So their focus changed a little bit.
That happens to a lot of companies when they hit that when they go public, and their shareholder is the customer now.
Yeah.
Instead of, and that's a tough thing. So I appreciate you telling me that too, because that's one of the things that I really didn't like about ADT in the past. And then the new CEO, he brought in a different attitude about it. And he said, no, he said, we are a service provider, number one. And he said, that's what we're going to take care of as our customer. And so he put all these initiatives in place to make sure that happened, to make sure that they didn't wait on hold for longer than 30 seconds, to make sure that they picked up,
Well, that's the key, right? Just like ADT, you have a monthly service to protect your home, right? Yeah. It's the same thing with solar, right? You're going to have a monthly payment to power your home, right? So, that's it, right? If the system's not working, right, it's problematic, right? So you want to be able to pick up the phone and get something resolved immediately from someone that has the power to do so. So I think, we believe at Infinity that the service is paramount, but yeah, so that's great. Thank you for giving me a little bit of background. I think I have a pretty good idea of what you're looking for here, and I think I have a fantastic solution for you. So before I get into this, I have a little slideshow prepared for you where I can give you a little background. I can show you some imagery, show you some different work that we've done and things of that nature. Before I get into that, do you have any pressing questions or anything that you want me to make sure that I cover throughout our conversation?
No, not really. I have some questions written down, and it's up to you when I ask them. So
I'm sure a lot that we go through is going to be answered, as I move through it. But yeah, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt. All right. All right, great. So I'm going to take over on the screen. Just let me know when you can see it.
Yep, I see it.
Great. So just to set a quick little agenda here. First, we're going to talk about what solar can do for you. Talk about Infinity Energy a little bit. As you know, we are not the only show in town, right? You've already spoken with one. You'll speak to another one, right? So we're going to talk about what kind of makes Infinity different and why so many people choose us over someone else. I'm going to explain to you how you're currently receiving power. We're going to take a look at your bill. I'm going to explain to you how the power flows into your house and how that whole process is going to change once you make the transition over to solar. And then we're going to take a look at a proposal and make sure, the program that I've chosen makes the most sense for you.
Okay. Yeah.
So what can solar do for you? Well, of course, it's going to save you money. So day one, you're going to start paying a lot less than what you're currently paying right out of the bat. Energy independence is a massive, massive, massive thing right now. Unfortunately, right now, the utility companies, they kind of got us by the balls, right? If they decide to jack up prices, if they decide to put in new policies, we're subject to those changes. So one of the things that solar gives you is energy independence, which brings price protection. We're locking in your cost for power. Inflation today is a very, very, very scary thing. It's the number one thing that people are concerned about. So being able to lock in your cost for power today, right, it has huge repercussions going down the line. I mean, imagine if you were able to do that 25 years ago, right? We wouldn't be having this conversation today. Right. So that price protection is going to allow you to budget accurately as well. For me, before I went solar, one of the things that drove me insane, I'd have electric bills that were $50 some months and $500 another. I don't know how you can budget a checkbook, right, when you have that type of instability on a monthly billing cycle, right? Nothing else gets billed out like that. Not your car payment, not your cable bill, not your mortgage, nothing, right? This is the wild card. So we want to remove that from the deck. Then the lastly is helping the environment. I mean, if there's a better way that's cheaper, right, to receive power and to power your home, right, that's going to be helping the environment, it's a no-brainer, right? It's a win-win-win for everyone involved. So a little bit about us. So we actually co-founded Infinity Energy in 2008 here. Since then, we've grabbed a couple of accreditations. We're an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company. We're top rated by Home Advisor, A+ by Better Business Bureau, and the list goes on and on here. We're also an REC professional installer, right? We're able to extend the warranty on the manufacturer because of the quality of work that we do with them. A little bit of a background on the company. This company was actually co-founded here by these two gentlemen, right? Murphy on the left, Achilles on the right. Murphy by trade is a GAF certified roofing contractor, right? So are you familiar with GAF? Have you ever heard of them before?
They make the roofs, right?
Correct. Yeah. They're the largest global manufacturer of roofing shingles ever, right? I mean, they're a massive, massive, massive company. They're actually globally headquartered right here in New Jersey, right in our backyard. And GAF, right? They do something very, very well. They make the best shingles on the face of the planet, bar none. Right? They come with the best-in-class warranty for 50 years. And we've been a partner with them for a handful of years through Murphy, right? So Murphy originally got into roofing at a very young age, right? Decided that he wanted to, offer the best quality product, right? So he partnered up with GAF. Over the years, we've actually worked this way up, and he's a master designated roofing installer. So the other half of Infinity Energy, there's two companies that operate out of our office. One of them is a roofing company. The other one is a solar company. Right, so we offer full-scale roofing services outside of solar, and we do that exclusively through GAF, and we are a top 2% installer nationally with them. So we do it at a very, very high level.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic, how is your roof? Is it in pretty good condition? How old is it?
Yeah, it's in good shape.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So most importantly, roofs that are in good shape, you want to keep it that way, right? So
right.
To work with a company that knows the ins and outs of how roofs work, how flashing and sealing works, how the penetrations work, so everything stays nice and together up there. This is why a lot of people work with us, right? If you need a new roof down the line, we have the capability to provide it. If you just got a new roof, we know how to protect it. All right. So that's a little bit about Murphy and his background. The other gentleman here, Achilles, on the right, by trade, he is actually a master electrician. So the two of these gentlemen actually grew up across the street from each other. Each kind of went their own separate ways. Murphy decided to pursue the career in roofing that we just spoke about. Achilles actually decided to be an electrician. Okay. So what Achilles did is he went to school to become an electrician, became an electrical apprentice under one of the top electricians in New Jersey, and then decided to open up his own outfit while working toward his master designation. So the master electrician is the highest level that you can accomplish. That's what Achilles is. Okay. So what happened in 2008, actually, they took the two companies, Achilles and his electrical outfit and Murphy and his roofing company, and said, hey, I think this solar thing is going to be, a pretty good move here. So let's take the two companies, combine them into one, right? And start offering solar as a primary offering and roofing and electrical services as secondary offerings.
Okay.
So fast forward to today, we have about 6,500, probably closer to 7,000 installs now throughout the New York, New Jersey region. And we do a couple of things at a very, very high level. One of those things is the quality of the installation, right? We take extreme pride in the way that these systems are installed. 99% of systems out there, they're subcontracted installs, right? One company comes in and sells the deal. They call a subcontractor. They come out and install the system, okay? The difference between them and us is every single employee of this company is trained by Murphy on the roofing side to make sure that any penetrations are flash sealed and protected for 25 years, which is one of the things that we warranty, right? And on the electrical side, they're trained by Achilles, a master electrician, to make sure that the system is as seamless, as low profile, and as clean as possible. So one of the things that you see on a lot of installs are conduit runs, right? So the system generates electricity. The electricity comes through the conduit into your meter and into your home, right?
Right.
These conduits are typically on the outside of the home, just strictly because it's easier to do it that way, right? What we've done is we've kind of invented a new way to do this. We use something called a solar deck, right? And what we do is we run conduits through unusable attic space whenever possible. So you can see, even for example, these two systems here, they're connected, just like these two are, 1, 2. But all the electrical is run through attic space, connecting the systems, and then the conduits run down the side and into the home. So the overall aesthetic appeal of the system is second to none. And it takes us a couple more hours to do the job, but I mean, it's going to be a better looking system for a lifetime. All right. So that's a little bit about Infinity Energy. Any questions about any of that?
Yeah. How much space do you need in the attic?
So as long as you have attic space, right, and the attic is not basically a finished attic or vaulted ceilings, we're typically able to do this. Do you have is your attic finished or vaulted ceilings or anything?
No, but it's like it's not, I wouldn't even call it an attic. It's not even it's not even a crawl space, really.
Yeah.
But there is a space that's about maybe 4 to 6 inches, and I'm hoping that would work because it's funny, Sunrun didn't talk to me at all about what you're saying, and I didn't think about that. And I saw those two pictures and the conduit on the roof looks terrible.
Yeah, I mean, a solar installation, a lot of people lose the perspective of this because they're caught up in the financials, right? Because the
Yeah.
financials are so attractive. Oh my God, I'm going to save so much money. But this is a construction project. Simple as
Right.
that, right? And so,
Right.
you're going to have different quality of labor, right? You're going to have really, just like if you did anything else, a kitchen, a bathroom, a backyard renovation, right? There's going to be the guys that come out and do it, and they're subcontracted, and maybe they were hanging fence yesterday and today they're installing solar, right? And then
Right.
there's the people that do it, and they're trained to do this and only this, and they take extreme pride in their work, right? So that's going to give you two very different final results.
What about the panels that look like shingles? Have you seen those where it's like part of the roof?
Yeah, we have. So there's two companies that offer that product. GAF is one of them, but we just spoke about in depth. We do offer that. It's called the Solar. I'm sorry, it's called the name will come to me. They've changed it 3 times. This is the 3rd generation product.
So looking for that magic.
Yeah. But GAF has one. Decotech, that's what it's called. But GAF has one called Decotech, the 3rd generation product, and the other company that does that is Tesla. So we work with both of them, just to let you know. This is a product that can be offered down the line. Just to kind of give you a little insight on this. The technology every year is basically being scrapped and taken from scratch. Okay. So they're having a very hard time figuring this out. One of the main reasons is when your system is intertied into your roof and you have an issue, you have to remove the roof, right? Which is a very, very problematic thing, right? Because you don't want to be every time there's an issue. If you have an issue with the panel, we come out, we pop the panel, right? We swap out a micro or whatever is wrong with it, right? We'll swap the panel, and that's done like this. When you have an interwoven shingles and roofing system, you might have to pull a lot of it off, right, to get to the piece that you need to swap. Wow. The other part about this is the cost is typically 2 to 3 times the solar cost. Okay, so it's a very cool piece of technology. It's something that I'm sure over time we'll continue to slowly start to figure it out. However, the cost is very high right now. It's not a product that's going to save you money. It's a product that is a toy, right? Like, this is something that I have, this is something that I bought, right? And and that's how that works.
I was thinking about what you just said. I don't need a new roof. If I did, maybe it would make more sense, maybe not, because of what you just said. But I'm not if it's 2 to 3 times more than what a traditional solar would be, I don't think we need to look at it.
I mean, I think that's a perspective, and this is why you don't see them, right? I mean, solar roofs have now been out. Tesla released theirs in 2014. GAF released theirs in 2012, right? I mean, how many of these things do you see out there?
Very few. Actually, only on like some new home developments that put that on. When they were doing the roofs.
In my surrounding area, I know one house that has one. Right. Wow. And I mean, and I'm in this business and I'm looking for things like this, right? And you will be now too. Once we install your solar system, you'll be driving around looking up, you're like, look at all this solar, it's everywhere. I never noticed this. But so anyway, so that's a little bit about Infinity Energy. Any other questions about that?
No, not at all.
Fantastic. All right, great. So we'll hop back in over here. All right. Now, I'm sure you had a little bit of education about how the incentive piece works. So I'm going to kind of dive into that and make sure you have a real thorough understanding. Okay. So one of the big things that's happening right now that a lot of people are pretty concerned about is the infrastructure that delivers the power to our home is completely falling apart. Okay. So it's a double-sided sword. We have an issue on both pieces. The way we manufacture power, right? Typically through coal and nuclear, both of those are, the EPA is crushing these companies. I'm not sure if you watch the news, but Indian Point, the largest nuclear reactor that actually powers your home, right, in your area, they decommissioned that nuclear reactor, saying it was unstable. So this is why you were talking before, every year your bill is going higher and higher and higher, because this is what's happening, right? The cost, one of the cheapest costs to manufacture nuclear, they're decommissioning those plants. And now the power that you're consuming is coming from Niagara Falls, right, and coal plants in PA. So the power is more expensive to actually manufacture, one, and you're delivering it from a distance that's hundreds of miles further, right? So they're losing a lot of the power trying to get it to. So this is why the cost of power for you is getting so expensive so quickly, right? Now, the other main issue that we have, to replace this infrastructure, it would cost around $5 trillion, which I know now we kind of kick around the trillion constantly, right? But this is not a real number, right? So, a couple of years ago, the trillion didn't exist, right? Now it's, oh yeah, this is a 3 million stimulus. This is a 6 million stimulus. So, but this is all the money in the world, essentially, we're talking about.
Yeah.
So the federal government was trying to put their head together and they said, okay, we have a unique problem. The way that the power is manufactured is problematic, right? Nuclear doesn't work, coal doesn't work, right? Hydro is too expensive, all these different things. It's too much money, or it's too far. And a bigger problem is when we do manufacture the power, the infrastructure is so old, so antiquated, right? We have to create twice the amount of power to get half of it to where it's going, right? So much of it is lost from point A to point B. So they started to put their heads together and said, well, what can we do to help solve this problem? So solar is a very natural fit, right? Because solar gives you the ability to generate your own power via solar panels on your roof, right? So you cut out nuclear, coal, hydro, whatever it is, and it gives you the power to deliver it to yourself, right? You cut out the whole infrastructure. You generate the power on your roof, you deliver it from your roof into your main service panel 10 feet away, right? So you solve that entire problem. The issue was money. Right? The cost of solar was too expensive and it wasn't catching on. So the federal government decided to make it slightly more enticing by doing something called the federal tax credit, right? The federal ITC. Now, the way that this works is the federal government is going to return to you 26% of the total cost of your system, right? On your taxes, on your federal tax return. Every year, right? You pay taxes, right? Federal and state. Right? When you have a solar system, you're going to have a dollar for dollar tax credit of $7,800. Okay. So, well, $7,800, assuming the cost is 30, right? So if the cost of the system was 100 grand, right, you'd have 26,000. Any questions about that? Any questions about that?
Oh, no. I understood what you were saying. Thanks for clarifying on the 7,800. I wasn't following until you told me.
Yeah. So 26% of the total cost, regardless of what the cost is. Now, currently, it's 26%. Any systems installed in 2023 will only be 22%. And then the following year, it goes away completely for residential and only for commercial. So this is a time sensitive thing. So I think you're looking into this at the perfect time, right? Right before, everything starts to change for the worse. So that's one incentive. So the federal government put a lot of time, a lot of money into this whole incentive. And then they said, you know what? Why are we doing all the heavy lifting? Let's mandate states to create their own policies as well. So every state has the opportunity to choose their own policies. New York is one of the greenest states in the country. So they decided to be very, very, very aggressive with their incentive programs. So they actually created a whole governing body called NYSERDA. NYSERDA stands for the New York State Energy Research Development Authority. And essentially what they do is they create pools of money, right, by taxing people. That pool builds up over time. And then the people that take advantage of renewable energy programs can actually withdraw money from that program. Okay. So in your case, this would be an instant deduction off the top of the system. So just less out of pocket for you. Okay. And we'll get into exactly how much, but that's how that works. Any questions about that?
No. So so you're talking about the Fed incentives, and now you're talking about this. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So the federal government provides a 26% tax credit. NYSERDA, right, is a pool of money allocated toward renewable energy projects, right? And this reduces your out-of-pocket expense for solar. Okay.
By how much?
It'll depend on the system size. The bigger the system, the more money they give you.
Oh, okay.
All right. And we'll hit that number there for sure.
Excellent.
The other part too is very similar to the federal incentive. The state of New York is going to provide you with a $5,000 dollar for dollar New York State income tax credit. So same exact way as the federal one. However, this one's capped at $5,000. Okay. All right. Any questions about this? So this one would work 26% of that on the federal side, 26% tax credit against the total cost of your system. And this one is a flat 5,000. So they just, and the 5,000 works against the state, federal works against the federal.
Got it.
All right. Any questions?
Nope.
All right. Perfect. So on the incentive side, just another quick recap. I don't know how much you got explained on this. So Federal, 26% of the total cost of the system comes back to you, right?
Mhm.
NYSERDA is an instant deduction, so that lowers the cost, and then you'll get the federal and the state back, right, on that on the tax credit piece.
Yeah,
Okay?
no, I understood that. I just don't, I get it. I know it's gonna be 26% on the one side with the Fed, depending on the total price of the system, and then I know it's gonna be
$5
easily,
grand. Yeah.
we'll hit $5 grand, because that sounds like it's capped.
Yeah, five. So you, with your system, you get the full 5,000.
Okay,
All right.
and then NYSERDA, you'll tell me what that is or not?
Correct. Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a second.
All
All
right.
right. All right, cool. Good. So that's the incentive, big part there. So just to kind of tie all this up before we move into the next piece, there's two things that we're going to cover, right, that are homeowners love here. The first thing here is the Infinity warranty. We're covering everything for a duration of 25 years, leak-proof penetration, microinverter, product replacement, 24/7 concierge support. Anytime you call our office, you get a live human. All right. Solar performance analysis, and we're guaranteed the production of the system. Now, the production of the system is monitored on an application that looks like this. So this is included, right? You're going to have live time monitoring here. The blue here will show you solar production of how much electricity your system generated.
Okay,
Orange, right, will show you consumption, right? How much electricity you're actually consuming. And you'll have a full diagram here of every single panel in your array and how much electricity each one is generating. If there's
Okay.
ever an issue with the system, you'll be notified in this blank white space up here. You have access to this, and so do we internally. So this is how
Okay.
we help monitor the system. All right, any
Yeah,
questions?
okay. No, that makes sense.
All right, perfect. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at your electric bill. All right,
Okay.
we're going to break down how it works, and then we're going to use that information from the electric bill to build out your proposal.
Okay.
All right. So, by the way, thank you for sending that over to me before.
Yeah, not a problem. I mean, I wanted to get real world numbers, not just,
Absolutely. No, this is the right way to do it for sure. So here's your electric bill. Right. Now, the way that your bill is actually constructed, it's broken into two primary segments here. Who pays the
Okay.
bills? Do you pay the bills in the house, or does someone else?
no, it's usually my wife, but
Okay, that's the same thing in my
I
house.
feel it the same way.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. My wife is the ultimate bookkeeper. She keeps tabs on a lot of this stuff. So the first time this was explained to me, I almost dropped dead in my chair. I couldn't believe it. So, but yeah, so the way that this works is your actual electric bill is broken into three segments. This
Okay.
top segment here is showing you how much electricity you consumed over the previous month. So
Okay.
electricity, the unit of measurement for electric is kilowatt hours. Right? Think of like inches to feet, right? Or gas to gallon, or gallons of fuel, right? This is the unit of measurement here, kilowatt hours. Last month, you used 1,999 of them, right?
Okay.
Now, this power gets billed out to you in two separate ways. It gets billed out to you for delivery. So delivery is exactly what it sounds like. It's the amount of money that the utility company charges you to bring the power to your home.
Got it.
Okay? So think about what's involved in this. Right, when the power is manufactured, right, it needs to travel dozens or hundreds of miles to get to your house. Every
Right.
time you see an Orange and Rockland truck, every time you see an Orange and Rockland customer, or excuse me, an employee, all those people are working on getting the power delivered to your home.
Got it.
So the utility company got pretty wise, and they said, well, no one really has any idea what they're paying for anyways. This overhead, all the people that are working on getting the power delivered, let's just pass all this along to the homeowners, right? And that's what they did. So every single cost that gets incurred actually gets passed directly along to you. So every time you see a Orange and Rockland worker, every time you see a truck, right, you're paying for that salary, pension, and so on and so forth, right? Once they moved that over, no one fully actually noticed, right? So they started adding in all these additional charges. These two are delivery, right? But RDM, transition, SBC, all these different charges started getting added in. Now, if you remember before, we were talking about NYSERDA. Right?
Yeah.
Remember that fund that everybody's paying into, but only two people? This is the fund. The SBC, right, is the systems benefits charge, which recovers the cost of renewable energy projects in your area, right? So this charge, right, is being collected. So this, you paid last month into this fund $11.25. Now, there's two different types of people. The people that don't have solar and pay into the fund, and the people that do have solar and withdraw the money from the fund. So this is where the fund comes from.
Okay.
So last month, so this is it. This is a line item. So last month, you spent a total of $194, not on the power that you consumed, but on just a delivery, just to get it to your home. Okay.
That's crazy.
The actual power that you bought is your supply, right?
Right.
So your supply. So this is the actual power, right? The 1,999 kilowatt hours worth of electricity,
Yeah.
right? The utility company billed you $188 for that power. It's not a terrible deal, not a terrible deal, but you had to pay $194 to get it to your home. That's why your total bill was $393, right?
That's fascinating.
Crazy, right? Imagine
Yeah,
no other walk of life would this fly, right?
no,
If you go on Amazon right now and you're like, oh, look at this, new pair of shoes that I really like. It's $188, and then you click on, drop into my cart and then check out, and your total goes to $393. You're gonna
right.
be like, what just happened? This is the most ridiculous. Get in your car, drive to the store, and pick them up, right? So, yeah, it's a very crazy thing. Now, the beauty of this, again, when you go solar, you're going to, guess what? Supply the power to yourself. Goodbye.
Okay.
Supply charge goes away, right? Then you're going to deliver the power to yourself, right? So you don't need this either, right? So this whole equation changes. Now, the only thing that we actually want to keep here is this one charge here. It's called the basic service charge.
Okay.
So the way that your system works, and it's a fixed cost every month, it's only $19.50, all right? And now the way that solar works is through a process called net metering, okay? So the solar system is going to generate electricity during daylight hours. During the day, system's going to generate a lot of power.
Yeah.
If you're home, right, in live time, you'll be consuming the power that the system generates.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
The issue is if you're not home, right? Let's say like normal people, a lot of people work from 9 to 5. Guess what? 9 to 5 is the best time for solar productivity, right?
Yeah, but I'm not getting to use it.
Exactly. So that power needs to go somewhere. So what happens is you're already paying this $19 charge. What will happen is the system will generate the electricity. If you're home, you'll use it. If you're not, you store it right out on the grid.
Okay.
You can store an unlimited amount of power out there for $19 a month. It's a fantastic deal. So we're going to hold on to that charge.
Okay.
Then at the end of the night, sun goes down. You need power. Guess what? You have all this power saved up right outside your door. You pull it back. Right? Any questions about that?
That makes perfect sense, and I dig it. So, if I understand correctly, we're going to eliminate all the charges, but the $19.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the goal here. So yeah, all of it except for that charge. All right. So, ready for the good stuff?
Yeah.
Good. All right. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this. Again, I think you're gonna love this proposal. Got a lot of good stuff on here for you. All right. So. This right one. Okay. So go ahead and take over on the screen again. Just let me know when you can see it.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
So, talking a little bit about the guarantees, right? So this is really one of the biggest separating factors. We're going to guarantee the production that the system generates. We have a 90% production guarantee. So as the system is producing electricity, right, you're able to track it on your Enphase monitoring application, and we're also able to see it on the back end of us, right? Every other year, we're going to audit the system, make sure the system is doing what it's supposed to be doing, right? And if it's not at that point, we could financially reimburse you the difference, right? So this is something that neither of those other companies you mentioned before are going to be able to offer. The issue is if you go ahead.
Is that like a true up, or what is that?
Yeah, so basically, the system's going to generate a guaranteed amount of power.
Okay.
If it produces less than that guaranteed amount, the difference will be financially reimbursed to you on an every other year basis, on a biannual basis.
For the duration of 25 years?
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Okay.
So this right here is an industry-leading warranty, right? So we're covering that whole back end. We're making sure that it works, because the issue is if the system doesn't work, right, now you have a payment that you have, right, and you're still buying power. So this is a very, very important warranty. The other thing that we're covering that's also industry leading here is penetrations into the roof. We're guaranteeing that any penetration that we make into the roof is airtight and leak-free for a duration of 25 years, okay? Now, this is critical, right? Because the industry standard on this is 5 years. Sounds like a long time, but it's not, right? 5 years is going to go by in a blink of an eye. So if you have an issue, you need to call, if you have an issue in the leaked roof, in the roof leaks, right? Who are you going to call? You're going to call the solar company, you're going to call the roofing company, because whoever you call, they're going to point you in the opposite direction. Right. With us, we're covering this from beginning to end to make sure that everything is under one warranty and then works perfectly. Okay.
That makes sense.
every component that we offer here is guaranteed for 25 years. So all the components are warranted through the manufacturer for a quarter century. All right, so you know that the cost of power is going up. Today you're paying $440 a month. You're actually paying $5,200 a year. 10 years, that's going to go up to 65. Right, over 30 years, you're going to end up paying almost $250,000 in electric. So massive, massive amount of money that's going to be coming out the door. And this is only with a 3% annual increase. You can see what your monthly cost looks like over time, right? With a 3%. I think the inflation report was 9% last month, right?
Close to it, yeah.
Very conservative graph. So locking in your cost for power is one of the most important things that you're going to be able to do today. Okay. So the system that you need is a 22.275 kW system. All that really means to you is it's going to produce 25,075 kilowatt hours worth of electricity, which is going to produce 104% of your previous year's electrical usage. So it's all the power you need, plus an additional 4% for a little room to grow. All right.
Okay.
The product that we're using, it's 55 REC 405 watt panels. This is the most powerful panel in the world on a square inch by inch basis, on a power per square inch is how that's measured. So you were talking about technology. You were asking before, I told you we kind of departed from, some power. This is why, right? Because we believe that no matter what, our alliance is to the homeowner, right? We want to make sure that we're providing the best product that's available today, right? With the best technology, with the best warranties. And we are very confident this is that product, right? Most powerful per square inch, best aesthetics, right? Lowest profile. This is an incredible, incredible, incredible product. So taking a look at the numbers here. So after NYSERDA, right, your total finance amount here is $82,328.
Okay.
You're going to get a total tax credit amount back of $26,405. Okay. Now this is state and federal. So your net cost for the system is only $55,923. Okay. Now the way that this loan is structured, there's no early prepayment penalty on any of our loans. So we stretch them for 25 years to yield the lowest possible monthly payment. And since the APR on our loans, the solar loans, is only 0.99, it's basically free money. Okay, so we're providing these loans at a hard, next to nothing interest rate, stretch it out over 25 years, lowest possible monthly payment. What that looks like on a month-to-month basis for you is this. Today, your average monthly payment is $440 per month.
Correct.
Your remaining cost once you switch over to solar is $42, right? This would be the basic service charge and the cert fee from New York. In place of your $440 that you're currently paying now, you have a loan payment, and that loan payment is $231 per month, and it's fixed. So your total cost of power is going to go all the way from $440 per month, all the way down to $273, saving you $167 per month while locking in your cost for power, right, and beating inflation with no money out of pocket. Right. Okay. Now, the way that the loan is structured is this. Like I mentioned, the total amount here is $82,328. 26% of that, right, your federal tax credit, is $21,405. All right. Now, the way that this loan is structured is your monthly payment is going to start off at $231 per month, right? Yeah. $231. What a lot of people do is when they get this money back, right, this $21,405 from the federal government, they take this money and they apply against the principal of the loan. If you decide to do that, your monthly payment will stay at $231 a month, month 19 through year 25. You have 18 months, right, to do this. Now, this scenario of a $231 payment assumes that you pocket the $5,000, right? So not only would you save $167 per month right off the bat, but you keep $5,000, right? So you're $5,000 richer, you locked in your cost for power, you're saving $167 a month. Okay. If you decide I don't need the $5,000, I want to exchange that for an even lower payment, you can do that, right? When you get the $21,405 back and the $5,000, you can apply both of them against the principal, and your monthly payment will drop all the way from $231 to $215, saving you an extra $16 a month for the next 20 years. Okay. Now, the other side of this equation is I don't want to give any of the money back, right? I'm only borrowing it at 0.99% APR, which is basically free money, right? This is $26,000, and I want to renovate my bathroom, my kitchen, my backyard, take my family on an extravagant trip, whatever you want to do with the money. That's also completely fine. just know that month 19 through year 25, your monthly loan payment would go to $316 a month. $316 plus 42, right, is still, you know, it's $350, which is $100 less than what you're paying. So however you slice it, whatever you do with this tax credit, it's completely up to you. No right or wrong answer. And you have 18 months to decide. Okay.
And if I just want to pay the difference in cash, it's 55.
Correct. Yeah. So if you want to pay it off at that point, you can pay the whole remainder off at that point. The balance will be 55. And there's no early prepayment penalty, right? So if you take that extra $200 that you're saving every month, right, give or take, right, 270, and apply that to the principal on a monthly basis, you're gonna pay that thing off in no time.
Well, I was just gonna pay the balance off, just pay it.
Sure.
So
good. Yeah, no, that's it's wise. I mean, owning the power, owning it outright, it's all good stuff, and that's why a lot of these loans have no early prepayment penalties. Okay. Cool. So, any questions about anything that I covered up to this point?
No, I mean, when is it due? Like, do they instantly supply that tax credit, or am I paying that up front and then waiting for my tax credit?
No, you don't pay any of that up front, right? So the loan is based off of the number of post tax credits, right? Okay. When you get the tax credits back, when you file your taxes at the end of the year, right? Yeah. In the beginning of the year, right? You're going to go to your accountant. You're going to file two documents. A 5695, which is the federal document, that's going to get you the 21405 back, right? The federal 26%.
Okay.
And then with the state of New York, there's another tax document called an IT 255. That document gets you back the $5,000.
Got it. Okay.
Your accountant is going to be equipped with all this information. Any accountant in New York knows this inside now.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, the way that do you have any other questions about this? Everything sound good?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I do have some questions not related to that, but I'll ask them when it's time to ask them.
Right now, hit me.
Okay. Crazy thought, but have you ever had anybody? I mean, so I did a pool myself, right? Did my own permits, everything else, and I saved about probably 20,000 by doing it. Why wouldn't somebody do that?
So it's not something that homeowners can do for a variety of different reasons, right?
Okay.
One, they don't have the roofing expertise. Two, the electrical that you need to have, you need to be a licensed electrician.
Okay.
Right? So, and to file.
I can't pull permits like I did for my.
Correct. Right. Correct. Yeah. So
okay.
you would need an HIC, right? So you need an HIC license to do the home improvement aspect of it. You need a licensed electrician, right, to be able to be the electrician on file for all this stuff. The electrician needs to be present for all the inspections and everything that unfolds, right? Okay. And the other part of that too is these products are not available to people that call REC. They're only available to companies like us, companies that have strategic partnerships. So you wouldn't be able to actually even find this equipment on, online or to buy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's a million little pieces. It's like buying a solar system is kind of like, it's like a car, right?
Yeah.
Where like if you went online and tried to find every piece of it to build your own solar system, you would have a very, very, very hard time. It would take a very long time, and you probably wouldn't end up with the car that you like.
Can you imagine with supply chain issues right now too? I mean,
yeah, forget it.
I'm pretty sure you talked me out of it just then, so we're good. I was playing with it in my mind, like, you know what? Maybe I'll save another 20 grand, but no. Well, it doesn't sound like I can.
Yeah. So. Well, the other thing too is, I mean, we've picked up a thing or two over the last 7,000 installs, right? I wouldn't want Infinity's first install to be on my house. So let's put it that way, right? So we've learned and we've gotten better over time, right? And every install, you learn something new. Every install looks a little bit better than the last, and so on and so forth. So
got it.
Yeah, you don't want your home to be your test dummy for that.
There you go. There you go.
So yeah, any other questions?
So this is a random one, but. So let's say I am home, because I'm working from home at the time, for the time being. So can I run my AC units off my solar?
Say that one more time.
Can I run my AC, my air conditioning, off the solar?
Of course, yeah. So this system is built to produce 100% of the power that you consumed last year. So you have the AC, you had all that stuff throughout the year. The way that the system works is it directly feeds into your main service panel, and then your main service panel distributes the loads throughout your home, right? So whenever you're powering in your home, will now just be powered via solar.
Cool. Okay. I didn't want to get in a situation where, as an example, I know that the power company charges me a lot more than the cost of what I'm able to produce with a solar system, right?
Mhm. Correct.
And so I don't want to push that power into the system and then buy it back from them at a higher rate. That's
So
all.
net metering is a 1-to-1 credit. Every
Okay.
1 kWh that you send out, you get a 1 kWh back. That's the process of net metering. So
Okay.
you're not actually selling it and buying it back, right? Every 1 kWh that you send out, that's banked for you essentially, and then you just pull it
Okay.
back. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And it's just all covered under that $19 charge.
Correct. Mhm.
Great. I like it. I like
Yep.
it, Matt. So what is the process that you would normally take if I was to decide to do something with Infinity?
Yeah. So
What's next? What do you guys do?
yeah, so if everything sounds good to you and all the financials line up here and we're ready to take the next steps, what this looks like is we operate slightly different than most other outfits. The information that we've reviewed today is preliminary, right? Now,
Okay.
it's based off of very, very accurate satellite imagery. So usually it's pretty close, right? Or pretty much spot on for the most part, right? But what we'd like to do is we'd like to inspect everything else to make sure that every I is dotted and T is crossed before we install or before we sign
Okay.
up for anything permanent, right? So what the next step would be is we're going to make sure that your credit is qualified for this program that we just reviewed. Once we have an improved credit, right, we're going to come out and we're going to conduct a site assessment.
Okay.
During the site assessment, we're going to review a couple of things. I know you said your roof is in good shape, but we're just going to inspect it for you just to make sure that everything is good. There's no missing shingles, there's no holes, patches, any of that, right? So we're going to do a whole roof inspection for you. You come down, we're going to inspect your whole electrical system, main service panel, the service coming into the street, meter pan, all the whole electrical. All right.
Okay.
In addition to that, we're going to inspect the structural support of the home. So we'll climb up into the attic. We're going to check out all the rafters. We're going to check out all the structural support. We're going to kind of see where the system would be wired and how it'd be wired, and all that good stuff on the front end. Then we're going to go outside and we're going to take all shading measurements of all the surrounding trees to make sure and guarantee that the system can produce what I'm telling you it's going to produce today. That's how we're so confident with all of our warranties. 25 years is a long time to guarantee a roof to be leak free, right? And 25 years is a long time to guarantee production based off of shading. So we want to measure twice and cut once on everything. So then that's the next step. You're going to come out, do the credit, make sure everything is good. That information comes back. I'll be working with my engineering team to break down all the numbers and optimize the proposal to the best of my ability. Then at that time, a couple days from now, we'll sit down, we'll review the final numbers together, go through the agreement and take the next steps. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So are you
Yep.
okay, so this proposal that you showed me, you can email that to me?
Sure. I'm going to email
Okay.
it to you. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get this. You'll get a copy of some other things.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm excited to compare that with Sunrun or SunPower and Tesla. And see
without a doubt. Well, I mean, you have the SunPower one, right? So what does this look like?
Yeah.
It's the SunPower.
It is fairly close, actually.
Good.
So yeah, I mean, it's your panels though were higher output.
Mhm.
I'll have to look at it. I'm basing this off of what I saw in their
Without a
document. I don't have it right here in front of me, but anyway, when I get them side by side, and I don't mind. I'm not one of those people that I'll share it with you.
Mhm.
And, be happy for that.
I'm not worried about SunPower at all. I mean, I'm very well aware of like where our pricing stands in the market compared to theirs. I know that this is going to be a better price, right?
Okay.
And I'm also confident that, I mean, I think after we start to get the ball rolling, people are very confident in Infinity's ability to do the job right. Right. So I think that it's a little bit more of a handheld process that Chalmers love, right? They understand that like we're going to be able to do it right with internal personnel, with the right products, right? And it's going to be something that's going to stand the test of time.
Okay.
Right?
And I haven't gotten the numbers from Tesla yet. What's your take on them?
Tesla, my take on Tesla is they're a car company, and I think they should continue trying to work on that. Right. That's kind of my take on that. There's like a very deep history with Tesla that's kind of intricate. So when I first got into solar, the world leader in solar, in residential solar, was a company named Solar City. Solar
Yeah.
City was owned by a gentleman named London Rive.
Mhm.
London Rive is first cousins with Elon Musk, right? So
Okay.
what happened here was Solar City never made money. Their goal wasn't to make money. Their goal was to corner the market, right? They were a Wall Street fueled company that was like grow, 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 grow. They were supposed to start making money. That they passed that time. They were losing more money than ever, and Wall Street pulled the plug. So
Wow.
Musk, as a board, as someone on the chair, started paying actually for like the salaries and whatnot at Solar City to keep it afloat. Then in like a very controversial merger, Musk bought Solar City, right? So the buy was actually a bailout. The board did not like it. They didn't approve it. Musk overrode the board. And then the board turned back and sued Musk for basically doing this. So the whole transition was very, very messy. A lot of people that I knew lost their jobs at Solar City. They were shutting down offices left and right. And now that company is kind of a shell of what they were. So now they're kind of parading around behind the Tesla name, right? Tesla is a very popular name, and that's how the majority of the product gets sold, right? I mean, that's it. I mean, the product is a white labeled, Tesla panel. It's manufactured in China. It's a low quality product. If service is your thing, they're not your outfit, right? I mean, Tesla has I mean, you could do your reviews, do your research on them. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole with that, but yeah, I mean, again, they're a vehicle company, right? Solar is an afterthought for them. Actually, they're a car company first, a space exploration company second, and a solar company third. So, I mean, those are massive undertakings so all of them, right? So, I think that it's a very, very different feel. Tesla's prices are pretty competitive because there's zero involvement. You go online, you order the product, they come out, they subcontract the work to a local installer, and then that's it. They install it, you never hear from them again.
Right.
So if that's what you're after, that might be a good fit, right, from the price side. But that's really it. That's what I got to say about them. Love their cars.
Their cars are cool. Yeah.
So the next step on this side, if we're speaking the same language and everything sounds pretty good to you, what we can do real quick is we'll do a credit application to get the ball rolling here. Okay. So I have all your information, which I've already inputted here. Right. The only thing that I need from you is I just need your annual individual income. What would you say that is?
It's 152.
Okay. Your average mortgage payment less escrow and taxes.
2,100.
Okay. And this is your primary. And what's the last 4 of your social?
0708.
Okay. And date of birth.
10/5/72.
All right, great. So I agree. And then I'm submit, right? That application is going to load. So we'll both have an email in 1 second with the approval, right? You get an email, I get an email. It's approved, right? Great. Straight. So the next step here, what we're going to do is we're going to come out, like I mentioned, and conduct the site survey, check out all that other stuff. I should have the results back in 72 hours, give or take. Once I have all that back, I'm going to call you. You said you're meeting with Tesla by then, so you run the gamut by that point, right? And then we'll be able to kind of reconvene. We can talk if you want to share any other quotes with me or anything else that you collected or information. My phone is always on, so don't hesitate to reach out. The next person that you're going to hear from is Amanda. She's our customer service manager, and she's going to coordinate the time and date of your site survey with you.
Okay, sounds good.
Any questions about any of that?
No, that makes sense.
All right, great. Yeah, I'm super excited. I look forward to working with you, and thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Talk to you soon, Matt.